Right guys, little update. I've had the had the plate made. Exactly right. I mean, laser cut machines, that's what they do these days. I told them to cut this out to the same size as this on here, and it's such a good fit that it's snug on one side and actually too tight on the other. It's like the whatever they cut it with doesn't go down straight, it sort of like warps slightly or something like that. So it's perfect. It's really snug onto here. So today I'm going to be drilling out the holes to line up with these ones around here. I've got a bolt in there so I know what size to drill. I'm going to go to work to do that because I want to be using a drill press to make sure I get all the holes nice and square going in, make sure everything's perfect. And after that, once that is bolted to that there, the next step is to do the coupling. So yeah, that'll go straight on there. Get that clutch plate. After it's been modified, that'll be welded on top of there. And then I'll sit the whole transmission on top and do the holes from there. Another thing is that when the plate was in the forklift, it was on an angle sort of like that. And what that meant is that these places where you put the cables on, two of them were right down the side. So what I'm going to be doing is straightening where they put my line. I'm going to be putting it on a really different angle, put my line there, and that way I can have these lugs on top of the motor, so I have two on one side, sort of two on the other, and it still lines up with the transmission. I cut a hole in the middle of this. It's still rough, but I chucked it on here, found out where the center was, and then cut out the same size hole that goes on all this stuff here, so that, take this out, that now fits on there. It's rough enough. I just needed to make sure I could line things up still and have all the bolts roughly, missing each other. Another good thing is that there's this gap in here that the plate's going to be sitting on, so the heads of the bolts aren't going to interfere with the metal plate that's over there. So I have a bit of room, and if I need to, in the metal plate I can have bolts pointing up. So instead of trying to do all the threading and that into the plate, I can have bolts. I'll weld them in there so they just stay in there permanently, and there'll be a whole bunch of studs sticking up, and then I'll just put the transmission straight on top and use a bunch of nuts to tighten it up. That way I can choose whatever thread I want. I can use lock nuts with some nylock on them so that I know they're not going to come undone. And then once that's all done, it goes back in. But that's going to be another couple of weeks away. Here we go. Got the holes drilled. They line up really well with this. I did have to do some filing on the inside of the circuit hood just to make it really, because it wasn't sitting very flat. It was wobbling a little bit, so I just filed the pieces that it needs, and now it sits really well on here. It's really heavy. So now I got this. This isn't going to be what I'm using, but so I have that. I've put a little mark on there just so I know which way is up, so they can have the terminals over on each side. Then I've got this template here. That's going to be sitting straight up that way, and everything is looking really good. So next step is the coupling. There we go, all bolted up, and I just used second-hand bolts off the forklift. And There's a little bit of thread sticking out in each of them, which is perfect.